we are all aware of the terrible and tragic shooting that happened in Washington, D.C. by, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name. And also, I don't want to say his name, where he shot Sarah Beckstrom, who has died from her injuries, and Andrew Wolf, who at this point in time is still clinging to life, depending on when it is that you're watching this. But terrible and awful tragedy, and at the risk of making light of a very terrible and dark and heavy situation, which I don't want to do, who could have seen this coming besides everyone? This dude, unpronounceable name, drove from Bellingham, Washington, across the country, which, by the way, if you don't know your geography super well, Bellingham is like at the tippy top. It's probably the furthest possible place from Washington, D.C. This guy drove all the way across the country in order to commit an act of terror and kill and shoot and kill, that was at least the plan, National Guardsmen, because for some reason libs made him think that that was necessary and appropriate, or at the very least being charitable, that they had no business being in Washington, D.C. I don't want to put that on libs. I don't think they explicitly said, hey, you should go kill National Guardsmen, but using some of the rhetoric that they do use, it's not a far leap to come to that conclusion if you demonize all of the people that are trying to keep Washington, D.C. safe. This guy allegedly worked with the CIA in Afghanistan, but according to CIA Director John Ratcliffe, should never have been allowed in the United States of America. He did enter, surprise, surprise, under the Biden administration's Operation Allies Welcome program. That was a part of the 2021 Afghanistan withdrawal debacle and failure. This guy is our ally. Of all the people who are allies, it's this guy, the guy who will drive across the country to kill National Guardsmen. He's our ally, according to the Biden administration. Operation Allies Welcome brought more than 70,000 Afghans to the United States following the botched 2021 troop withdrawal. Among those evacuees, federal agencies uncovered potential derogatory information on about 7,000 of them. So 10% of them almost. The feds said, there's could be some problems here. Could be some problems with about 7,000 of these people. Of those 6,868, 5,000 of them had national security concerns. Cool, good, just let them right on into the country, said no one. 956 of them had public safety concerns. Good, just let them too, bring them all. These are allies here. They're allies. 876 of them were flagged for fraud. Allies, they're allies. Now, the good news is that President Trump and the administration has been working to clear this backlog of red flags, do their due diligence, do their investigations into these particular individuals. But even with them working overtime probably to try and sort all of this out, as of September, still 885 of them were still deemed potentially negative national security risks to the United States. So good, just good. We're just gonna let all those people into the country, and it should be fine, right? It should be fine. In addition to that, not that you need any more bad news, the Department of Homeland Security has encountered, according to the Inspector General report, obstacles to screen, vet, and inspect all evacuees. Another Inspector General report from the DHS had listed that they had fragmented processes with dealing with potential security risks. Sounds like something that we should fix or take care of, but it's not like any of that was happening under the previous administration. The FBI, by the way, noted that, this is a quote here, the need to immediately evacuate Afghans overtook the normal processes required to determine whether individuals attempting to enter the United States posed a threat to national security. Okay. So the need was so immediate. It was such a pressing issue that we'll just bypass all of the different processes that generally would, deem people threats to national security. That's an afterthought. The need is just so immediate. It's like saying the need to buy a chocolate cake was so immediate that we forgot to pay our mortgage. Sorry, babe. I needed this chocolate cake. It was just so delicious. It's an ally. I need it so bad that Secondary thought, the mortgage on the house. So we have to move, but I do have this terrorist. I'm sorry, chocolate cake. Forget what metaphor I'm using. Senator Chuck Grassley has spent years pressing agencies about these glaring red flags in the program and also the weak vetting standards. Um, Among those who made it into the United States as of May 2023, 55 individuals were on the terror watch list, including some who were added to the list in transit. So they're on a plane coming to the United States, and someone goes, "Oh, I don't know if we should point this out. But this guy happens to be on the terror watch list. Is that going to be a problem? Him being on the terror watch list? Nah, it's fine. It's totally fine. Operation Allies welcomed." Just as an example, two of the Afghan nationals, again, not even going to try to pronounce the names here, Afghan 1 and Afghan 2, were charged with planning an ISIS-inspired plot to disrupt the 2024 election in Oklahoma City. Afghan 1 came to the United States in 2021 on a special immigrant visa, was able to obtain 2 AK-47s, 500 rounds of ammunition in 2024, and pled guilty to providing material support of ISIS. He faces up to 35 years in prison. These are our allies, according to the Biden administration. Guy also had a similar relationship with the CIA in Afghanistan than the Washington, D.C. shooter. Now, all of those things being said, the immediate backlash, and again, we didn't do a show last week since this has happened, so this is why we're bringing it up here. Bunch of libs, guess who they blamed? I can almost guarantee that you'll be able to guess this. Email us, tpt@tbusa.com, very quickly, because I'm going to give it away right here. They blamed Donald Trump. They shouldn't have been in Washington, D.C. The city was fine. They only had a couple dozen murders every week or so, but the city was safe. We didn't need the National Guard. Therefore, because Donald Trump wanted to fix the rising rampant crime in Washington, D.C. and brought in the National Guard, that's why these National Guardsmen were shot. It wasn't, the terroristic threats of the allies that the Biden administration claimed would help the country. It was Donald Trump, because he tried to make the city safe, and how dare he try to make the nation's capital a safe place to walk around at night. Trump, as you probably know, has ordered the deployment of an additional 500 National Guards troops following the shooting, brings the total to 2,000 in D.C. to combat crime. All of that is to say, or all of that leads up to the fact that ABC News, among many other outlets, even today, are still trying to dismiss the actions of a terrorist who tried to kill Americans. This is from ABC News. The investigation continues to delve into what may have motivated the suspect in the deadly National Guardsman shooting last week, a portrait of a life increasing financial stress and a potential mental health crisis as emerged, sources familiar told ABC News. Oh, okay, so he was struggling financially. He also had, so it's fine. It's fine that you go to D.C. and murder National Guardsmen. Additionally, multiple sources also said the investigators are looking at the impact of a recent death of an Afghan commander who allegedly worked with the 29-year-old suspect terrorist who came and shot the So he was just sad. The death of the commander, who the terrorist is said to have revered, had deeply saddened the suspect. What are you going to do? He's sad. He's just a sad guy, so he's got to go, murder Americans. I think we have the ability to hold ourselves to a higher standard. What do you think? Let us know. tpt@tbusa.com. Do you think it's possible for the United States to have an elevated standard for people coming into the country? Which, by the way, they're coming into the country for a reason. Because the place that they left, which was built by the culture that they have, was awful. That's why they're coming here in the first place. So should we have a higher standard for entry into the United States of America? My bet is yes. My guess is yes. I think we can do that, and I think we should do that. But again, tpt@tbusa.com. Should we keep the standards as lax as they have been over the last administration? Or should we, raise them just a little bit?